This kid turned 18 a few days ago, opened an OnlyFans the same day she became 18, and earned $1 million in less than 24 hours. FBI! Clear right! Let's talk about it. For those of you who have jobs like me are not up to date with all this kind of stuff, don't worry, I'll brief you on the situation. So let's get into it. This individual is named Lil Tay, and for context, Lil Tay has been a content creator she's been around for a while. I mean, she was around when I was in high school, and around 2019, and she was known for making clout content and just being a personality and things of that nature. She was brought up everywhere.
I dropped out of Harvard to save the rap game. You already know what it is. Lil Tay just got a brand new Jaguar. This car cost me $130,000, bitch. No grown-ass man hating on me, but that ain't changing nothing. I still gonna be rich. I'm the youngest flexer of the century, bitch, and I'm only 9 years old.
God have mercy upon us.
But she took a long break from social media because her parents were exploiting her and she was breaking free and going through some legal battles and stuff like that. Whatever that whole mess was. But the point is, she came back, I think it was last year, with a music video, and it's very clear that the girl has aged. She's no longer Lil Tay anymore. She's grown Tay. At least she was Lil Tay a few days ago, because as of recently, she just turned 18. Which you would think is an amazing thing, but it gets a lot weirder than you expect it to be. You see, Lil Tay always had it planned. Now, as soon as she turns 18, she's going to start an OnlyFans. And, a lot of people look at that and be like, well, why does a kid have the intentions to do that as soon as she turns 18 years old? Very weird stuff. But what's even weirder is the fact that so many people were excited for her to open this OnlyFans. And because they were so excited, Lil Tay earned $1 million. $1 million in 24 hours. So many questions run in my mind. It's like, why? Like so many questions. Number one, 1 million in one day. I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? We're all still here trying to make a living. You have Lil Tay making 1 million in one day. But the biggest elephant in the room for me has to be the fact that there were some weirdos waiting for her to turn 18. It's kind of strange that, society has people like this, and people will say it's not weird because she's just turned 18. Bro, it is weird. Like, you were actually outside camping, waiting for this young girl to turn 18 and then just pounced or look at whatever pictures she uploaded and things of that nature. Now, obviously I frown upon what Lil Tay has done, but it's a very interesting conversation to understand, how do people get in the mindset of liking little children? How do they go from being a normal individual and then looking at young people and thinking, yes, that is a bit of me? Well, we're going to go into it, and I'm going to explain to you the cycle that brought someone's brain to think that this is okay. And it all boils down to this most simple, big elephant in the room: pornography. You see, with pornography, it's such a powerful tool that's been implemented in society to make us very stupid. Pornography is bad for the brain. It's poison to the mind. It's poison to the spirit. It makes you weak. It makes you drained. It doesn't make you productive or think anything special. So as a result, when porn is there in your brain, it has different levels of addiction. On one hand, you have those people who are addicted to a minor level. They masturbate a lot, and they're trying to stop. But more so the fact it's normal content. Well, not normal content, because porn isn't really normal content, but it's content that they watch that is just, straight heterosexual interaction and stuff like that. But then we have the darker side to it, where it goes from bad to worse to really bad. You see, we really can't be surprised about how Lil Tay has got a $1 million in 3 hours, because society enables this kind of thing. I mean, this culture that we have nowadays, where we don't shame anyone and we don't judge people and for how they make their money, and we accept all kind of job roles and stuff like that, has led to this. I feel like it started off with people just being porn stars, and now it's led to this slippery slope of now freshly 18-year-old children starting OnlyFans because they want to make money that quickly, and nobody bats an eyelid to it. We don't shame people anymore. We don't cuss people out for that. We don't, bring more attention and cause more outrage to that. I don't know why this generation has become so soft and so spineless to the point where we just are like, oh, I don't judge you for how you make your money. I don't this, that, and the third. Of course, when you don't judge people for how they make their money, bad things like this are going to happen. A slippery slope is going to happen. We could easily say, yes, it's the PDF files. They're the ones who are doing this kind of rubbish things and preying on children online. But we also have to hold ourselves accountable in the sense that we don't spark enough outrage enough. We don't make loud enough noise. We don't demand things to change when they're meant to be changed. This point blank period is unacceptable. This whole thing about the porn industry period is unacceptable. But then now we're going further to the point where we are now allowing 18-year-olds. Bear in mind, they're not old enough to drink, but they're old enough to make OnlyFans content. How backwards is that? That doesn't make not even a lick of sense, no matter which way you spin it. She is not old enough to be doing this kind of stuff. She shouldn't even be doing it, period. The amount of things that children can do, the amount of things that people can do, we constantly break new boundaries on the internet. This whole progressive-ish needs to come to an end because we are taking it too far. We are allowing people to do whatever it is, and God only knows how much worse it can get from here. I don't know how worse it can get from here, but it's going to be possible. Society never fails to surprise me. Like, this should have been shut down from the very beginning. OnlyFans shouldn't have allowed it either way, but hey, look what's happened. This is it. This is the future we live in now. The future where anyone can choose any type of work career path, and slippery slopes like this can happen and nobody bats an eyelid to it. It doesn't make any sense. Additionally to that as well, the thing we have to understand about pornography is that we should never for a second underestimate how addictive it is. See, pornography, there's always this chase of a new high, just like drugs, where you're constantly looking for the next thing that's going to make you release your, I don't like getting into the details of it, but you know what I'm talking about. But there's always this chase for the next kind of euphoric feeling that will help you get to that point. But the problem is, because there's so much pornography in the world and everyone has access to it, people don't know how to regulate it. In fact, it shouldn't even be there in the first place. But if we're talking about managing it in doses, so many people are given this thing at such a young age, and they take so much of it, take so many dosages to the point where it's like they don't experience that high anymore from the content that they've watched. So when they're watching the content and they don't feel that high anymore, their body literally gets like as if they're a crackhead. They probably start itching and probably get like very emotional and erratic about it. And that's where it goes from pursuing sexual, release to chasing the new high. The new thing that's going to make you feel so great about yourself. And that's why you see people, you see this trendy thing of different kinds of dragon dildos going trendy and all kinds of weird stuff going on, because people have these kinks, but really it is that they become desensitized to it and everyone's looking for a new high. We should never just think it's just kinks and normalization of things. No, it's the chase of a new high, and it goes from bad to even worse. Watching the pornography is already bad, but then it gets worse when you start having these weird ass kinks and these weird ass, cravings to try and find something. And then there's where, just like crackheads, you see crackheads, because they like crack so much or the drug so much, they're willing to settle for anything, even if it's very dangerous for their lives. And that's where we see the same case with pornography, where people are so desensitized to what regular sex and look like, and then instead they start to look for something that's the next high. And obviously this will never make any sense to me, but they just decide to themselves, hey, let me give kids a try. And I guess because it's so societally shunned upon, and because no one can, it's so like frowned upon, yet the secrecy of it makes them feel so good, that's why they pursue it so much and have excitement for things like Lil Tay. Now again, I do want to make it perfectly clear, I think that pedophilia is one of the most sickest things in this planet, and I don't think there should be any mercy for it whatsoever, because I think everyone's responsible for their actions. But let's not act like pornography, the access to pornography, the abundance of access to pornography has not caused this in society. Yes, there are people who watch this, and they want to like just have a normal relationship with it. But a lot of people are severely addicted. A lot of people are severely looking for that new high. And it's like giving a bunch of drug addicts, drugs every single day, then telling them to be responsible with it, don't do anything stupid with it, and then when they get desensitized, you're surprised when they start doing stupid things. I feel like we as society treat drug addiction, we don't give porn addiction the same kind of love and attention that it needs, because there's people out here that really need rehabilitation. There's people out here who are really going through the crazy dark sides of it that no one's ever willing to talk about. And rightfully so. No one wants to talk about why you're attracted to children. You should never be attracted to children. But this is what pornography does. When you have a society that implements lust like it's nothing and normalizes it as if it's just a chill thing, bad things like this will happen. So yes, we are looking at here like, oh, how are pedophiles this and that. This is 9 times out of 10 the reason why that happens, because we are desensitizing people to what true sensation, loving sensation, and intimacy looks like with a partner. And instead, we've made it accessible to anybody through their phones or whatever crazy means. And now we have people constantly looking for a new high. In their heads, they're not even seeing it as children. They're seeing it as, I need to get my rocks off. I need to chase my new high. They're not mentally there because they are more focused on their addiction rather than the actual act of what it is that they're doing. Because if that was the case, then they would know things like consensual, non-consensual intercourse is a very bad thing. They would know that, being involved with dragon dildos or all kinds of weird, diabolical, demonic-ish, they would know that's a bad thing, but they don't see it that way. They brand it as kinks, and that's how the devil lures these people in. It tells them, oh, it's just a kink. You're just different. It's just not vanilla, but it's just a kink. It's a normal kink when it's not. These are things that cause because of desensitization. This is what's happening when you allow lust in. You desensitize people and they start chasing a high. The things that they want sexually have been so destroyed and warped because of pornography, to the point where now they look at children like this. Pornography, this whole acceptance of sex and us seeing it in the media and stuff like that has all led to this. It's led to terrible career paths, bringing loads of reward, even though it should be publicly shamed. And it's led to pedophiles who probably started off as normal individuals because they've been so brain rotted and had so much access to pornography. That sensation that they're constantly looking for has been burnt to crisp, to the point where it has now led them to go and seek that kind of sensation in children. And this is what happens when you implement lust in a society so casually. When you implement lust in a society so casually, bad things like this happen. We can't just blame the pedophiles. It's also the people that have allowed the porn industry in the first place, that have allowed the sexualization of younger people, that have allowed younger people to be involved in, say, performing at strip clubs, being in OnlyFans clubs. However, they're not old enough to drink yet. They're not old enough to drink yet. They're not old enough to go into certain clubs yet, but they are old enough to pimp their bodies.
Gosh, something wrong here.
This is how broken society can be when you just allow lust to run rampant everywhere. So guys, those of you who are watching this, right, do your part and don't invest or watch pornography. I know a lot of you are struggling with lust. I know a lot of you are struggling, battling that kind of lust and things of that nature. I understand that. However, this could either be you being involved and turning into a pedophile, or it could be you validating and enabling people like Lil Tay to jump on OnlyFans and do content like this. This is not normal. This shouldn't be normal. And I get so annoyed when people say, like, I'm not judging how people make their money. We should be judging how people make their money. We should be scrutinizing how people make their money. We should be holding these companies accountable and not just allowing it to go by. This whole phrase of sex sells, Yeah, sex sells, but that doesn't make it okay in the slightest. But what do you guys think about this whole topic? What's your opinion? I'll really be interested in hearing what you guys have to say. Looking forward to your comments. And if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, God bless, take care, and I'll see you guys next video.